Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And this, of course, is the big one of the day. This is the big story. This is the story that should put fear into the heart of every decent human being in Scotland. The Scottish Government are now effectively controlling your children. You no longer have children. You merely have to take care of the state's children. Humza Yousaf is signing in and wants you to know that should you talk to your children in a way that he does not agree with, that you go to jail and the children are taken from you. That is the horrifying, terrifying result of an arbitrary ban, basically, on raising your own children. Your children may come to you and say, "Mum or Dad, I think I'm in the wrong sex. I think I want to be a girl or a boy." And the moment you fail to get down and agree with it immediately, you go to jail. If you refuse your child gender surgery, if you refuse to sterilize your 8-year-old child, you go to jail for up to 7 years because the state now owns your children, not you. It is not your job to raise them. We're going to take a look at this. And if this goes through, you may as well just take your child to the nearest politician and hand them over, because that's effectively what's happening. Handing your children over to people who want to sexualise them, who want to abuse them, and who want to sterilise them on an industrial scale. Let's take a look. Now, before we get into it, I would ask that if you have yet to subscribe, please do so. We absolutely need to fight this. We can only fight this with your help. The more subscriptions I have, the wider these messages will go. YouTube does not like political channels, and it is only through your good help by hitting the subscribe button and liking the videos that we can grow, we can spread the news, and we let people know exactly what is coming down the line to them. Because this is one of the most frightening pieces of legislation I think I've ever heard. This is straight out of 1930s Germany. It is unbelievable that this is even a thing. That you are not allowed to talk to your own children about their sexuality. And if you do, you risk having your children taken from you and you going to jail. And why? So you can protect your child. You can have a discussion, because maybe the child isn't gender dysphoric and you want to save them from basically getting sterilised at a very young age, which they will then regret and change. Because there are a lot of detransitioners. The weirdos don't want you to know this, but there are a huge amount of detransitioners, people who've transitioned and instantly regret it. But they keep that quiet. They just want to use your children as cannon fodder in a war of identity politics. And they're winning by the fact that this evil, degenerate government are about to remove your parental rights and tell you that if you fail to push your children down the road to sterilisation, you're breaking the law and you're going to jail. What kind of world do these people want? What kind of world are they living in? This is definitely pitchforks and burning torches and introducing their necks to a bit of rope and a lamppost. Every one of them who votes for this is a danger to children. The SNP now are a direct danger to children. There is no two ways. If you're an SNP voter, think about what you're actually voting for here. Look at your children and think what the SNP want to do to them. And then tell me you agree with it. The Scottish Government has been slated over plans to ban conversion therapy amid concerns it affects free speech in family homes and it could criminalise loving parents. The Scottish Government has been blasted over these plans. Religious groups have also warned the SNP executive to prepare for a court battle if it tries to go ahead with outlawing the controversial practice. A consultation about this was published on Tuesday and revealed potentially chilling outcomes for families. Parents who refuse to allow their children to change gender could face up to 7 years in jail. Proposals stated that actions designed to change or suppress another individual's gender identity, causing them physical or psychological harm, would become illegal under the law. You know that children are so immature mentally that they're allowing 25-year-olds to are children and walk free from court. How can a child of 25, as far as the SNP see it, be insufficiently mature to know that f***ing a child is wrong, and yet so mature that an 8-year-old knows if he's a boy or a girl? These people need to be gelded. Every single person. Every person who votes for the SNP needs to be addressed as what they are. They're peas. Every single if you vote for the SNP, you are someone who is a danger to children. You need to be on a register and you need to be kept away from every child in Scotland. Because that's what you are. There's no getting away now. That is what you are. You want to push and promote people having sex with children and not getting punished for it. And then you want to turn boys into girls. You want to feminise young boys. And we know why. Because you like them that way, don't you? That's what the SNP are pushing for. And anyone who stands up and says, no, you're not doing this to my child, has the child taken from them and they're thrown in jail. That's the SNP. That's the great world that you, the SNP voters, are making for the people of Scotland. I hope you're proud. Anyway, I can feel it. Proposal stated that actions designed to change or suppress these things would become illegal. Officials acknowledged in the document that often conversion practices took place in a family setting, which raised fears that mums or dads could be criminalised if they refuse to go along with a child's declaration that they are transgender. Some examples of what could break the law was given, including stopping someone from dressing in a way that reflects their sexual orientation or gender identity, even if a parent believed they were acting in a child's best interests. This could lead to criminal sanctions, and preemptive civil orders could be obtained against parents or religious leaders. They can take you to court and remove your children because you have said no to a child. This is so dangerous. You are through the looking glass here. If anything guarantees the SNP are no longer fit, not just for office, but to be even regarded as human beings, it's this. Religious campaigners have been outspoken against these plans. If you've got a child, you need to be outspoken against these plans. If you're a parent, you need to look at the SNP and make sure your children go nowhere near these fucking P's. Every single one of them. SNP. We know what the P stands for. Some critics arguing it would have a devastating impact on freedom of speech, privacy and family life in Scotland. A Catholic Church of Scotland statement said, while the Church supports legislation which protects people from physical and verbal abuse, a fundamental pillar of any free society is that the state recognises and respects the rights of religious bodies and organisations to be free to teach the fullness of their beliefs and to support through prayer, counsel and other pastoral means their members who wish to live in accordance with those beliefs. Not anymore. No. The only religion in Scotland now is the religion of child abuse. That's all they want, because that's what these people are. They said, we would urge the Scottish Government not to criminalise mainstream religious pastoral care, parental guidance and medical or other professional intervention relating to sexual orientation, which is not approved by the state as acceptable. The state approves anything that means that they control your children, not you. That's what the SNP are. This worrying lack of clarity about what is meant by the term conversion practices could create a chilling effect and may criminalise advice or opinion given in good faith. If you are a parent and little Johnny comes back and says he wants to be little Janie, and you say, look, you're still very young and you're very confused, we'll talk about it, but you can't just change these things like that. Bang. At that moment, you're in breach of the law. The state can come in and remove that child, and you could be put in prison. That's how insidious and mad and wrong and dangerous and evil and degenerate these people are. Simon Calvert, Deputy Director of the Christian Institute, said, "We are particularly worried about the government's plans for civil protection orders. The courts can impose draconian limits on the free speech of individuals based purely on the speculation of activists about what they might say to gay or trans people." He confirmed that they were looking at potential judicial review, which they would launch if Parliament passes a law that tramples on basic freedom of speech and religion. Marion Calder, director at the campaign group Women for Scotland, said, "We have grave concerns that these plans will criminalise loving parents who could face years in jail for simply refusing to sign up to this gender ideology cult." And a cult it is, and it's filled with a whole bunch of cults, isn't it? They will also hand activists and social workers unprecedented powers to meddle in family life while having a chilling impact on therapists and counsellors. This is unbelievable. I can't get over how awful this is. And these people want it. People like that want control of your children. People like Hamza Yousaf want the state to take your children away because you refuse to sterilise them. And you can guarantee it's only white kids. It is disgusting. It is anger-inducing. And if anything needs people on the street going up, and indeed even a revolution, and with people dangling from lampposts to send the right message, this is it. This is it. So every single time you see an SNP politician, you know what they are. If you see anyone you know who votes SNP, tell them exactly what they are. Because we know what they are. I'm stopping and I'm coming up. So there you go. SNP politicians, every single one of them is a P. Greens, every single one of them is a P. The voters of these parties, every single one of them is a P. We know that because this is what they're voting for. They're voting to abuse children. They're voting to remove the rights of parents to raise their own children in the way they see fit, and to ensure that they are raised in the way that the state and its weird, extremist, dangerous, perverted tossers see fit. You may as well just hand your children over. Say goodbye and hand them over and say, well, there you go, I had you, but now they're going to have you regularly. And they'll be putting the little bits of makeup on the little young boys and handing them over to all the people in the SNP who like that kind of thing. Most of them. I'll stop because I can feel the anger rising again inside me, and it is very, very bad. This needs to be rejected. This needs to be fought. It needs to have no doubt in the people that you are going to vote against them. There's an election coming up. You've got to vote the SNP out of every single office. Get them out of every seat at Westminster, every seat in the councils, every seat at Holyrood. Vote them out. And we need Alistair Jack once more to step in and Section 35 this act. This goes against all that is good, that is decent, and that is right. This is a charter for child abuse, a charter for perverts, a charter for the degenerate wankers of the SNP to do what they want to your children. Thank you very much. Do please hit the subscribe button. Do please hit the like button. We need this message to get out there loud, clear and wide. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.